You're not tired just because you've worked too much. You're tired because you think too much, worry too much, try to control what's not yours to control, and still blame yourself when things don't go as planned. But what if I told you that all of this is a mental trap, and that there's an ancient path out of it? Here's the hard truth. Most people today aren't overwhelmed by tasks. They're overwhelmed by illusion. The illusion of control, of urgency, of perfection. And while you're trying to hold everything together, your mind is slowly collapsing. Stoicism, a philosophy forgotten by many, may be exactly what you've been searching for. This isn't magic. It's not fake positivity. It's a practical, realistic, and powerful way to reprogram how you think and live. In this video, you'll learn simple yet transformational techniques once used by names like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus to find peace in the middle of chaos, literally. And the best part, you can start today, no need to run from life, no need to wait on anyone. So stay with me until the end, because every part of this video will give you a piece of the mental puzzle you've been trying to solve. If you've ever felt exhausted and couldn't explain why, if you've tried everything and still feel like something is pulling you down, you need to hear this. And before we begin, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share this video with someone who's drowning in their own noise. Now let's get straight to the point. It's curious how we spend most of our day trying to control what was never in our hands. Other people's behavior, the weather, traffic, public opinion, even the algorithm on social media. All of it is beyond our reach, yet we drain our energy on it. Stoic philosophy reminds us with both firmness and compassion that true power lies in what depends solely on us, our actions, our choices, and how we choose to respond to challenges. Marcus Aurelius said that a mind guided by reason can turn any adversity into growth. But that requires focusing on what's possible, not what's impossible. Imagine someone obsessing for hours over an unfair criticism. The critique itself can't be undone, but their reaction can. That person can choose whether it will ruin their day or become training for emotional control. This is where self-discipline enters, to pause and ask, does this depend on me? That simple question, asked in the heat of the moment, is already an exercise in mind mastery. The more often it's practiced, the more naturally inner peace replaces external chaos. Stoics trained this skill daily, like an athlete working specific muscles. Seneca said that by understanding what's within our control, we become immune to the tyranny of chance. Practically speaking, it means you can prepare for a meeting, but not control people's reactions. You can study hard, but not guarantee the test results. It may seem limiting at first, but in truth it's liberating. When you abandon the illusion of total control, you gain lightness. Now think about the last 3 things that stressed you out. How many of them actually depended on you? Maybe none. And yet you still felt shaken. Stoicism proposes we act like archers. Aim carefully and shoot with intention. The target, out of your hands. What matters is the precision, focus, and effort you apply. This mindset reduces anxiety, combats stress, and prevents that crushing feeling of carrying the weight of the world. Because let's be honest, the world was never meant to sit on your shoulders. To apply this today, create a simple 2-column list. On one side, write down everything that's making you feel overwhelmed. On the other, mark what actually depends on you. That clarity alone removes much of the mental burden. If you're willing, share in the comments something you realized you were trying to control in vain. It helps lock in the learning and might inspire someone going through the same. And when you start releasing what was never yours to carry, something remarkable happens. The mental noise quiets down, and that creates space for the next step on this journey. If everything feels urgent, then nothing truly is. We live submerged in a sea of notifications, invisible demands, and deadlines that feel like ticking emotional time bombs. Stoic philosophy invites us to pause, breathe, and recognize. Most of what we consider urgent is just a mental construction. Seneca warned that people live as if they'll die tomorrow, yet plan as if they'll live forever. The result? Chronic anxiety, rushed decisions, and a deep fatigue that comes not from the body, but from the soul. It's easy to fall into the now trap. That message you feel you must reply to immediately, the task you believe can't wait even 5 minutes. The invitation, you feel guilty declining. But what if you paused for 2 minutes, closed your eyes and asked, does this really need to be handled right now? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. The ego craves urgency, but ancient wisdom calls for discernment. Stoicism teaches us that not everything that screams deserves our attention. A practical way to combat this illusion is by using focus blocks in your day, an idea borrowed from productivity but deeply rooted in Stoic discipline. By dividing your day into intentional segments, you learn to say no to false emergencies and yes to what truly matters. This strengthens your mental resilience and teaches you how to stay calm even when everything seems to be falling apart. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The urgency illusion is fueled by fear. Fear of missing out, disappointing others, or seeming uncommitted. But do you really have to respond to everyone? Solve everything, be present for every external demand? The answer is no. Gaining clarity on this is your first step to emotional control and to stop overreacting to everything. No one stays balanced while their mind is constantly on alert. That's not productivity. That's exhaustion disguised as duty. Want to practice this right now? Pick one notification that's bothering you. Don't touch it. Just observe your body's response. Shallow breath, fidgeting hands. That's your nervous system hijacked by false urgency. Training this daily will create a new reflex, the reflex of calm. Next time you feel that pressure, remember this. Emotional intelligence begins with what you choose to ignore. And as the noise of the outside world begins to fade, something deeper emerges. A silence, not from the environment, but from within. There's a type of noise that doesn't come from the outside. It's internal noise, the whirlwind of thoughts that won't stop even when the world is quiet. Epictetus called it mental disorder. We're buried under useless mental dialogues, assumptions, repeated phrases, and worries that may never happen. Stoicism teaches us that true silence isn't just about not speaking, it's about quieting the soul, and that only begins when we deliberately practice mental stillness. Inner silence isn't the absence of thought, it's the presence of awareness. It's when you realize you can observe your thoughts without following them. Imagine your mind as a living room, and thoughts as visitors. Some are loud, others annoying, some even aggressive. But you're the host. You don't have to serve coffee to all of them. You can simply let them go. That small act of conscious observation is already training your mind mastery. A powerful practice is Stoic journaling. Sit quietly for 10 minutes and write whatever is on your mind. No filters, no judgment. Then read it aloud and notice how much is repetition, anxiety, and noise. This daily habit clears the mental fog like wiping a dirty lens. For an even deeper effect, pair this with deep breathing exercises in the morning. This helps you stay calm under pressure before the day even starts. Stoic thinkers treated retreat as sacred. Marcus Aurelius, despite being an emperor, wrote each morning to align his thoughts before making decisions. He didn't start his day by answering demands. He began by turning inward. That intentional silence gave him clarity to face battles without losing himself in chaos. What you do in the first 30 minutes of your day can shape your emotions for the next 12 hours. And here's the curious part. The more you train this inner silence, the less you feel the need to prove anything. Criticism loses its grip. Comparisons become irrelevant. The ego begins to quiet down. This kind of silence isn't fragile, it's shielded. When you're calm inside, the world can scream all at once, but you don't flinch. Your energy is preserved, your perception sharpens, and your emotional control grows stronger than ever. And in that clean, steady mental space, you begin to see life in a new way, a simpler, lighter, more essential way. An overwhelmed mind doesn't just suffer from too many problems, it suffers from too much of everything. Tasks, decisions, commitments, expectations, and mental clutter all pile up like invisible weights. Seneca warned, "It is foolish to carry more than necessary." Stoic philosophy teaches us that simplifying doesn't mean lowering quality. It means removing the excess that strangles our clarity. The more complex your routine, the harder it is to maintain inner peace and emotional control. Let's be real. Some people feel valuable only when they're drowning in obligations, as if their worth depends on how packed their schedule is. That's a lie the ego loves to tell. In truth, a lean life is a powerful one. So here's a practical exercise. Review your weekly routine. What can be eliminated, delegated, or simplified? Fewer WhatsApp groups, fewer pointless meetings, fewer guilty yeses. This is self-discipline in action. One great metaphor is the mental minimalist wardrobe. Just like we hoard clothes we never wear, we carry outdated thoughts, habits, and obligations. Letting go of them is a form of self-improvement. Start with this. Identify 3 things in your life today that neither bring peace nor purpose. Then remove or reframe at least one of them in the next 24 hours. That alone will restore mental energy and reconnect you with your peace. Seneca said, "It's not the busy man who does much, but the one who does what matters." Stoicism invites us to seek that essential with awareness. It includes eating better, sleeping enough, being mindful of who gets your energy. Because in the end, ancient wisdom reminds us that every distraction has a price. And often, what keeps us from staying calm under pressure isn't what's missing, but what's excessive. Want to simplify even more? Try the Stoic essentialism rule. Anything that doesn't bring you closer to who you want to become is excess. Apply it to relationships, your social media, your goals. Stoic philosophy is about constant refinement, a strategic pruning so your mental tree grows stronger. And the more space you clear in your mind, the easier it becomes to handle insults, setbacks, and everyday frustrations. And once you start living with less weight, you create more space to train your mind in a surprising technique the Stoics used to prepare for the unexpected. Imagine waking up, and instead of hoping everything goes right, you prepare for everything that might go wrong. Sounds pessimistic, right? But for the Stoics, it was practical wisdom. This technique is known as premeditation of evils, or reverse thinking. Marcus Aurelius used to write, "Today I may face ingratitude, injustice, betrayal, and yet still choose to be just and calm." Mentally anticipating hardships isn't about inviting chaos. It's about training mental strength before chaos arrives. It works like this. Before a big event, pause for 2 minutes and ask yourself, what's the worst-case scenario? And what would I do if that happened? This alone reduces anxiety. Fear of the unknown shrinks when you shine light on it. Instead of being caught off guard, you feel prepared. This is emotional control in action, not an illusion of control. A mind that's already visited the battlefield in thought walks into real conflict with more calm and confidence. Let's make it real. Say you have a job interview. Instead of hoping it's perfect, reflect. What if the interviewer is rude? What if I forget something? By imagining these outcomes in advance, you lessen the emotional shock if they happen. That's Stoic resilience. You're not avoiding reality. You're rehearsing it. This is how to stay calm under pressure and train your mind not to overreact. Another benefit of reverse thinking? Increased gratitude. When you imagine losing something, your health, a loved one, your job, you begin to appreciate what you still have. It's like the mind wakes up. Seneca said, meditating on loss was a reminder to live with presence and awareness. This practice shifts your perception, strengthens self-discipline, and deepens your philosophy of life in ways that no book alone can teach. Want to start today? Each morning, think of 3 difficulties that could arise, not as a curse, but as training. The goal isn't to suffer in advance, but to build a resilient, prepared mind, one that's not easily shaken. Stoicism is a school of lucid anticipation, and those who practice it daily develop something rare: serenity in chaos. An invisible armor against emotional storms. And when you begin to see life as a mental training ground, even suffering takes on a new shape, less like a burden and more like a teacher. Pain doesn't choose time or person. But what separates those who break from those who grow is the meaning they give to suffering. Marcus Aurelius, even amid bloody wars and personal losses, wrote that pain is only unbearable when we see it as meaningless. Stoicism doesn't promise a pain-free life. It teaches that every suffering can be a personal lab, a mental gym, a training ground for resilience and emotional control. Think for a second. How many times have you come out stronger after falling? Sometimes we only understand the value of self-discipline when we're forced to use it. That breakup, that failure, that humiliation, things that seemed like the end often turn out to be reinventions. The Stoic secret lies in reframing pain. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" to ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That one shift in perspective changes everything. There's a Stoic practice called turning the obstacle. It's about using pain as raw material for growth. Epictetus said, "Obstacles don't block the path, they are the path." This applies to both small things, like workplace criticism, and major ones like grief or rejection. When you see everything as training, even suffering gains purpose. And purpose gives meaning, and meaning builds strength. That's real mental toughness. Need a practical example? Imagine those moments when you feel like no one understands you. You could drown in self-pity, or use it as fuel to deepen self-awareness, sharpen emotional intelligence, and refine your life philosophy. A daily journal like Marcus Aurelius kept can help. Writing out what you're feeling without filters lets your mind process and see patterns. That way, you're not just surviving, you're preparing for the next hit life throws at you. If you're overwhelmed right now, maybe the real question isn't, "How do I escape this fast?" but "How do I come out of this better?" That perspective alone brings deep calm. You don't have to like the pain, but you can learn from it. And those who do, grow quietly. That kind of silent growth is powerful because it transforms you into someone unshakable, someone who doesn't break easily. And once pain is reframed, it no longer feels like a curse, it becomes an instructor. And with that clarity, you'll start to see that it's possible to keep your mind clean, even on your most chaotic days. The mind is like a room in your house. If you don't tidy it every day, it turns into a mess. And the messier it gets, the harder it becomes to focus, stay emotionally balanced, and maintain inner peace. Stoic philosophy emphasized simple but powerful rituals to clear mental overload and align thought with purpose. Marcus Aurelius wrote every morning. Seneca used letters as exercises in clarity. Epictetus practiced nightly silence and reflection. They all knew, without inner order, the outside world wins. One of the most effective rituals is journaling. Take a simple notebook and write 3 questions every day. What's bothering me? What depends on me? What can I do today to be better than yesterday? This habit builds clarity, strengthens your mental resilience, and stops that "I'm lost" feeling. In just a few weeks, you'll start spotting mental patterns. This isn't just philosophy, it's your personal evolution, happening line by line. Another valuable ritual is negative visualization. Before stepping outside, imagine your day being hard. Traffic jams, rude people, setbacks. Do this for 3 minutes and watch the shift. When things go wrong, you'll feel prepared. This doesn't make you pessimistic, it makes you bulletproof. It's a powerful resilience technique rooted in Stoic discipline, helping you set realistic expectations and teaching you how not to be shaken by anything. At the end of the day, try a reflection ritual. Sit for 5 minutes and ask, "Where did I lose control today? What did I handle well? How can I improve tomorrow?" This practice builds self-awareness and deepens your mastery of the mind. It's not about guilt, it's about refinement. Over time, you become someone who responds consciously rather than reacts impulsively. And that changes how you face pressure, conflict, and emotional turmoil. Incorporating rituals like these into your routine is an investment in inner peace. It may seem too simple, but power lies in consistency. It's not about doing a lot once, it's about doing a little every day. That consistency builds a strong, calm, and clear mind. And trust me, a conscious mind is your greatest asset. Because when everything collapses on the outside, it's the only thing that holds you steady. And with this inner structure in place, you're ready for the highest level of Stoicism, the one where nothing and no one can steal your peace. There comes a moment when the goal is no longer to win arguments, impress others, or control everything. The goal becomes protect your peace, and not just any peace, but the kind that doesn't rely on external silence, only on internal balance. The Stoics called this ataraxia, a state where nothing pulls you out of alignment. You might hear insults, face bad news, or watch the chaos unfold, and still you remain calm. This is true mental strength, being at war on the outside, but in peace within. Being unshakable doesn't mean turning into a robot without feelings. It means feeling everything, and still choosing how to respond. It means knowing how to control anger without needing to explode. It means taming the ego that wants to react, prove, or dominate. That takes practice, humility, and above all, awareness. A person who cultivates this state becomes rare, a calming presence when everyone else is losing their mind. That's Stoic power in real life. One of the most powerful paths to reach this state is realizing that nothing external has power over you unless you give it permission. Epictetus said, "It's not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. An insult only wounds if you accept it. A criticism only shakes you if your ego is insecure." When you truly understand that, you build an invisible shield that guards your peace like a warrior protects their sword. Want to know if you're on the right track? Watch how you respond when something goes wrong. Do you breathe or explode? Observe or attack? Stay calm or blame? Your answer reveals whether your emotional intelligence is mature or still trapped in chaos. Growth begins with awareness. And the good news, it's all trainable. Through Stoic philosophy, daily rituals, reverse thinking, inner silence. Transformation starts where automatic reaction ends. Being unshakable doesn't mean living without emotions. It means dancing with them without being dragged away. It's the ancient wisdom of those who understand that life will provoke you. But true peace is non-negotiable. And when you reach that peace, you don't just live better, you inspire others to do the same. You become a living mirror of serenity. Suddenly, your presence alone becomes a reminder that it's possible to live without carrying the weight of the world. And now that you've come this far, it's time to tie all of this together with a greater purpose. Because knowing all this is powerful, but applying it, that's where true transformation begins. Now that you've learned the Stoic path to deal with overwhelm, the question is, will you keep letting the world control your mind? Or will you finally take charge of what truly matters? The choice is yours. What you've learned today isn't theory, it's practice, and it will only work if you apply it. So tell me, which of these strategies will you start using today? What ritual will you create to protect your inner peace? Drop it in the comments. Your insight could help someone else too. This isn't about changing your entire life overnight. It's about changing the way you respond to it. Start small. One pause, one notebook, one breath, one moment of silence. That's already mind mastery in action. Remember, real strength isn't resisting chaos. It's walking through it without losing yourself. And that's what Stoicism can help you become, if you allow it. And the best time to begin? Not tomorrow, not next week. It's now. Your mind can't wait any longer. If this content made sense to you, if it brought you clarity or shifted your thinking, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, you'll keep learning how to cultivate inner peace, grow emotional intelligence, and live out ancient wisdom in the modern world. Oh, and share this video with someone who says, "I don't even have time to breathe." Maybe this is the breath they've been needing.